They are so our knowledge sharing session. From wherever you're joining us from, this is Nigeria, it's afternoon here, this is noon. And I have with me Glory Edozien. She's a LinkedIn visibility expert. Today, we want to look at how we can optimize LinkedIn for networking and visibility. Glory, thank you so much for joining us.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
All right, social media has made life a lot easier, for us. In case you're not aware, we are a group of about 200 or so professionals, right? We call ourselves the E.D.O Development Organization, right? So it's very critical for us to build something worthwhile that we can hold on to, and not just something that we can hold on to, but something that we can grow from, right? I know how it is when you bring professionals together. They want to know that, hey, we are not wasting our time, and we're really like busy bees. So we really need to know that our time is well spent. Now, when it comes to the work that we do, right? Times have changed. We have moved beyond the traditional means of, basically pushing ourselves forward. So we now have social media. It's made life so much easier. But then on the other hand, you could say for some of us, social media has made life quite complicated, because having to keep up with the trends, you're like, goodness, do I have to do this? Why can't I just go back to the old ways, right? But you are a LinkedIn expert. So let us in on why LinkedIn is super vital for our growth in business and our growth as professionals.
Thank you for that excellent question. What a great way to start the discussion. So first things first, I want to congratulate you guys for coming together and forming this amazing organization. I think it's important in this day and age, communities are supporting one another and are growing together. Now, in terms of how LinkedIn can help with that, LinkedIn is the largest social network in the world, right? It has 900 million users, and a significant proportion of that are people outside of the United States. So what that means is that LinkedIn is giving you a chance to connect with 800 plus users globally. And then when we look at who are the people on LinkedIn, according to LinkedIn own statistics, right? 4 out of 5 LinkedIn users can make business decisions. 8 people get hired every minute through LinkedIn. Marketers say that LinkedIn has the best, as of social media networks, LinkedIn has one of the best organic reaches. So when you're talking about where professionals, business decision makers go to, a lot of them are on LinkedIn. And then I also saw the statistic recently that was saying that LinkedIn audience on LinkedIn has 2 times the buying power, right? So what does that mean for you as a professional and you as a business owner? It means that if you're an entrepreneur and you're trying to reach other businesses, you have the potential to reach immediately key business decision makers, right? As a professional, you have the chance to get seen by the right people who need your skills. And one of the things I love the most about LinkedIn is that it is a professional network. When people are on LinkedIn, it is for business, right? It is not like on Instagram or Facebook where people are there to meet up with old friends, be entertained, laugh, gist, right? And then, you have to come in their face, right? To sell, right? On LinkedIn, people expect to see professionalism. They expect thought leadership. They expect to read great content from people that are experts in their field. So this is one of the reasons why I think LinkedIn is here to stay. and you are really missing out and doing your professional life and your business life a disservice if you're not on LinkedIn. Hello, can you hear me? I think you're muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, good. Right. A friend actually said something funny to me and said, well, LinkedIn is where you go to stamp your authority. Other platforms is where you go to market your product or your service. So in terms of stamping one's authority, you just mentioned now that a lot of people go to LinkedIn because they want to hear from professionals, right? But then we've also heard on the flip side that people claim, a lot of people on LinkedIn is all about packaging. Right? That everything is just packaging, there's nothing real to it. What would you say to that?
So for me, it's how you look at packaging, right? If you go to some of the most expensive stores in the world, right, and they package the product for you, the package itself is an allure, right? It makes the product interesting. So if you buy an expensive pair of shoes from Louis Vuitton or something, right, the packaging, they will give you the box and everything will, it's amazing. And then when you open the product itself, you then see this amazing product inside. So what am I saying? It depends on how you look at packaging. The most important thing is when you're on LinkedIn, how are you offering substance? Forget about everything else. You need, in the world that we live in, right? You need to present yourself in a certain way to be taken seriously. Now, whether you want to call that packaging, whether you want to call that, whatever you want to call that, the most important thing is present yourself in a way that the people who you are trying to attract will find you, and then make sure you have substance. The only thing you can control is how you appear. And so make sure you have the substance, but you also have the right appeal for the people that. So for example, if I had turned up today in this session, my hair was everywhere, my face was just looking anyhow, my dress was torn, it would take people a long time to concentrate on what I was saying, because even though I had substance, that the package would be distracting. So it's important that you create the right package so that people can see you and will not be distracted. However, packaging should not take away from substance.
I think that's the key for me. That's what I wanted to hear, the substance part. Because if you're packaging and there's no depth to your packaging, you kind of like fall flat on your face eventually, right? Now, let's talk about the technique, the skills behind it. When it comes to expanding and elevating one's network, so that you can convert it to business, on the global stage, or just maybe basically have board appointments. What are those specific things that we need to focus on?
Okay, so we're talking about LinkedIn, right? On LinkedIn now. So for me, there are three things I say, right, that are important. The first is brand clarity and communication. So what do I want to be known for? Right? So this is a lot of professionals need to understand. What do I want to be known for? You've had a career 10 years, 20 years. What are the key things in your career you want to be known for? What problem are people trying to solve that your name is an answer to? Right? You have to be clear on that. And you have to make it as simple as possible for people to understand and communicate it with power. I'll give you an example. I'm a visibility expert, right? But I'm also the CEO of my organization. When I go to places, I do not introduce myself as the CEO of Inspired by Glory. Why? Even though that's who I am, I introduce myself based on the problem that I solve. So I say, I help mid to senior level female executives build visibility and thought leadership, or that I'm a visibility and thought leadership branding expert. So how did I tweak that definition or that introduction? It is by understanding the problem that I solve and learning how to communicate it in a way that is simple yet powerful to the people I want to attract. So that's the first thing. The next thing is your network. Who needs to know about you? Right? So you are someone who makes perfumes and you make bespoke fragrances for high net worth individuals. Who needs to know about you? Who can you help? Who can pay you? Wherever these people are, that is where you should be also. So, for example, I said I help mid to senior level female executives. Rarely will you see me giving a talk at a school. I can give a talk at a school once in a while as part of my give back, but it is not something that I chase constantly, right? Same thing, somebody who is a governance expert trying to get on the board of, for financial institutions. Who needs to know about you? Chairmen of boards, chairpersons of boards of financial institutions, other non-executive directors. How are you connecting with them? Build a network of people that need to know about you, need your services, can pay you, that you can teach and you can give value. Third and final thing, create content. Let people know your expertise. Show your expertise in the content you create. When I was starting out, my background is actually in environmental planning and climate change. And then I moved into coaching. And some of the first coaching things I used to do was teaching professionals how to network. And I just used to write a ton of networking content, networking mistakes professionals should avoid, how to network, how to walk into a room. I used to write it. And before I knew it, people started calling me the networking queen. It was not an accident. It was because I was constantly and consciously creating content about what I wanted to be known for to the people that needed me. Right? So those are the three things I would advise. Can you hear me? Yes. So those are the three things I would advise. I think you're muted.
The key word for me in everything that you have said here is being intentional. Be very deliberate. Know why you're where you are. If you're on LinkedIn, know why you're there. Define for yourself who you are, what you are trying to attract, who you're trying to attract, and where those people are so you can get to them. And beyond that, creating content. That is the cocoa. I think that is where a lot of us kind of like miss it, because it takes a lot of effort to do that. It does take a lot of effort. I know
when you professional like me, it's not that much of an effort. I work with people like me, because this is my bread and butter. But yeah, I know that a lot of people.
There's a challenge that we have for those who actually create content. And one of the things that kind of like makes us, just a bit, just dissuades us a little bit, is the fact that the algorithm, we really do not understand the algorithm. What is the algorithm? How do we work around it? How do we use it to our advantage? We've seen several people where they're actually posting, you can actually see the content, but the engagement on the content is minimal, right? Is minimal, and that can be very discouraging. So what would you say about that? How can we utilize the algorithm to our advantage?
Okay, so I am the worst person to ask about algorithms, because my answer to algorithms is value, right? So here's the thing, and I know that Instagram, for example, the algorithms are constantly changing. With LinkedIn, things are a bit different, right? LinkedIn is not trying to create singular superstars that that people are constantly liking their content. LinkedIn is trying to build community, right? So LinkedIn is about pushing content to the people that need to see it. So it's a bit of a different game, right? Now, what should you do on? And then another thing is this chase for virality, to go viral, to have likes and everything. For me, what I teach my students is quality over quantity. what does it benefit you if 2,000 students like your post, right? Compared to 2 board members liking your post. If you're trying to get on a board, what does it benefit you? Do you understand? Like, when you're talking about thought leadership, especially when you're niching down, I always give this example. I had a client who is in cyber maritime security, and her specialty is the Gulf of Guinea. Her content is never going to go viral unless her content is about people that are shooting in the Gulf of Guinea. She's talking about security challenge. How many people know about the Gulf of Guinea, and how many people know it's not going to get viral? So her content typically 30 likes, 10 likes, 20 likes. But I tell you, she travels constantly giving talks about her expertise. Paid travel. In fact, there was a training she went to give and she saw her bosses there. Do you understand? But she's not, if I call her name, you will know her. Do you understand? So it's not about, and I understand the thing, I've made so much effort, I want people to like my content and things like that. But you have to kind of retrain yourself to look at the real analytics. What are my goals? Do I want to be viral, or do I want to get opportunities? Who are the people that are going to give me opportunities? There are some times that, for me, on LinkedIn, I'll see a post, I'll see my numbers. I'm like, I always want to shake them on LinkedIn small, and there are types of posts I will create to do that, right? But those are not the posts that get me clients. They're not, So for me, it is quality over quantity. So I know that doesn't answer your algorithm questions. Post at a certain time. Then when you post, add 20 hashtags. Then make sure the hashtag, sister, that's just exhausting.
That thing can be so discouraging. Please, like, what else do I have to keep up with? Really? Why do I have to go through all that? I already have the details. I already have the content. I've dropped it. Yeah. But I think it also feeds to our vanity, our sense of vanity, and our sense of, ego, to know that, people are actually engaging with the content that we've taken time out, to create. But now let's talk about networking. I mean, LinkedIn is a professional app, is a professional site. And being a professional, you can only move as high or as fast as your network, as your connection, right? So what would you say networking is on LinkedIn? Is it just about meeting new people or more people? Or is there something deeper to this networking thing? Not everybody has the garb for networking. So how can we do that?
So I think everybody can network. And I think LinkedIn allows you to network in the pyjamas. I think LinkedIn is excellent for introverts and extroverts alike. Right? So, but you asked an interesting question. You said, what is networking? And for me, I define networking as the process of getting people to know you, like you, trust you, and spend their social capital on you because they understand the value you bring, right? Now, that means it's not just about meeting new people. Anytime people think about networking, they think about adding new people to your network, right? It's not about that. It is about the process by which you're getting people to know you, like you, trust you, and spend their social capital on you because they see and understand the value you bring. So what does that mean? It means that you have to be in a space where you're constantly demonstrating your value to the right people. And when I say this, that content is a form of networking, sometimes people are like, really? And I'm like, yes. When you're creating content, you are attracting people to you. People are getting to know you, like you, trust you, believe you, and see your value. And people will start to recommend you for opportunities. There's one girl that's always talking about visibility. There's one girl the calls I get sometimes, I don't even know. The other day I was doing a call with a potential client, And I don't even know the person that recommended me to her. And she was like, oh, that she doesn't think I know the person. Somebody has just been observing me, and her friend was saying, oh, I need help with my visibility. And she's like, oh, there's one girl. Process of getting people to know you, like you, trust you, spend their social capital on you because they see your value. So how do you network on LinkedIn? The most important thing for networking on LinkedIn is demonstrating value. And there are a couple of ways to do that. On your profile. So when you're creating your LinkedIn profile, make sure that your value is demonstrated. See, a lot of times people will send me a LinkedIn message or connection request on LinkedIn, and I'll look at their profile, and I don't see the basis for the connection. So, and a lot of people struggle with this part, especially women. They'll say, oh, they feel bad turning down people's requests and things like that. And I'm like, on LinkedIn, there are two different ways of connecting. There's follow. People can follow you. They don't have to be in your network. Because when you're in my network, it means that you have access to my network and have access to your network. And also, we spoke about the algorithm earlier. If in my network, I'm constantly accepting, for example, maybe, I don't mean to bash students, but just as an example, right? I'm constantly accepting students. I'm telling the LinkedIn algorithm, these are the people I want to network with. And LinkedIn will continue showing my profile to those people, right? So you have to teach the algorithm what you're looking for. Do you see my point? And so for me, it's important that one, you demonstrate your value, and then you are intentional, like you said earlier, about seeking out the connections that you want and reaching out in a proper way. What is the proper way? Always send a connection request message. You wouldn't meet a stranger on the road and just go to them and put out your hand and shake them. They'll look at you, they'll think you're crazy. But if you go and you introduce yourself, hello, my name is Glory. I heard you speak at so and so event. It's really nice to meet you. They will even bring out their hand and say, what was your name again? Oh, nice to meet you. And they'll shake your hand. So that's the way that you do it. You send a connection request with a message. And then remember I said the process of getting people to know you, like you, trust you. Content creation. Because you can connect with 100 people every day. You can, but how are you going to talk to them every day? You can't. You can't. I mean, the friends, your bosom friends, the people that you grew up with, you're even having problems staying in touch with all of them. Do you understand? But when you're creating content, when you're going for the right events, when you are publishing in the relevant publications, writing relevant publications, being seen in the right places, you're networking. People are observing you. You have no idea how many eyes are on you.
What you said just now struck a nerve because I really didn't know that before. The difference between having people in your network and those who follow you. So those in your network actually determine, now going back to the algorithm I was talking about, actually helps LinkedIn, guides LinkedIn to the kind of content and the kind of people they show you, because in their mindset or in their thinking or targets. So we need to be more careful. I like that. So now I'm going to be more deliberate about just accepting any connection. So I like that. That's cool. So it's easy. Just follow me. There's no problem. You're still going to have access to my content. You still get access to my content. Yeah, so, but do not ruin my networking structure.
And I think about it this way. You've been accepting random people. The day you need help, you connect with the head of human resources for people. And nobody in your network is connected to that person because you have been doing random. Nobody can. But if you are strategic about connecting, you will find at least two people that can help you connect to that person.
That is networking as individuals, right? So as E.D.O, we have a group. We have a group on LinkedIn, and we want to actually, because the idea is to grow. We represent the professionals basically of Edo State, but there are more professionals out there. right, in the diaspora within the country, and we want to build our profile on LinkedIn to such a point where these people will feel safe and secure enough and know that, okay, this is an organization that means business, that know what they're doing, that's serious about boosting, the economics and whatever of Edo State. But how do we get that message across as a group on LinkedIn?
Okay,
yeah.
So I think that's such an interesting question. But also such a global issue. And it goes back to the thing that I mentioned earlier. Clarity, communication, networking, and content. And I'll go through them in detail now. So the first is your page on LinkedIn. How clear are these aims and objectives, right? How clear are they? What exactly is the mission of the community? What are you trying to achieve? How do you communicate this in a simple but compelling language so that people from Edo State in diaspora can feel an affinity and realize that, okay, this makes sense? The next part is the network. How are you harnessing your network, the network you currently have, the community, right? Are you doing events? Are you showing are you supporting each other? How are you connecting each other to opportunities? Because the truth about it is that people there's so many communities now. People are being very careful about who and what they align with. And people are looking for value everywhere. So imagine where, as a community, you're helping entrepreneurs, export goods to another African country, for example, and you create content on that. There's no, I mean, you don't even have to do membership drive. People like, me too, I'm in Edo State now and I do share butter. How do I join? Do you see what I'm saying? But it's about making sure that building your network, communicating the network you have in terms of content strategy now, and what you guys are doing together as a network, right? And other people, and inviting other people to join, making it public. So it's not just about helping yourselves, but showcasing how you are helping yourselves to others. So I'll use myself as an example. One of the things that I do when I'm trying to attract clients is I show the women I've helped my success stories, right? And it brings, and I do webinars sometimes with women that have taken my programs in the past. And it's such an excellent way of winning clients, because people can see themselves in my previous clients. In fact, sometimes they'll just go on my page, look for a previous client, and actually phone them and say, I'm thinking of signing up for Glory's program. So what does that mean? For you guys, you need to be advertising your members as part of your content strategy. And you'll find out that other people will be phoning people and like, Miss Aminedo State, so what do people even do there? Do you understand? So you need to make yourselves visible, right? And through these different steps. Hope that makes sense. I can't hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now? Yeah, I said it makes sense. So for those who are watching, if you have questions, this is the time for you to ask questions. You put it in the comment section. Glory is here and she would attend to your question, or if you have like a contribution or something. But we've got some people here. Osai says, nice one. Thank you. Yes. So she's hailing you. We have Mercy. Mercy is saying a great conversation. Awesome. All right. So let's talk about demographics here. There's, we've got statistics that show that women are more active on Instagram and TikTok, while men are more active on LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. Now, where the statistics where the research got their sources from, I mean, that's another thing altogether. But being a woman myself, right, and thinking and knowing that we have a lot of women within within our community, how can we as women seize the opportunities that are on LinkedIn? I mean, first of all, before you go there, do you agree that there are more men utilizing LinkedIn than women? I mean, you are a woman, so you're in the best place to
So, I mean, when I, when I think about it, there may be some truth in that. There may be some truth in that, because I know that a lot of women, especially since I work with women, I know a lot of women are, I don't want to use the word scared, but maybe the best word is hesitant to be on LinkedIn. There's a lot of fear with interacting with the platform because it is very professional, and there's this fear of being criticized. So so I know that a lot of women are hesitant to really engage. So there is a possibility that that statistic is correct. I can't say it is or isn't because I haven't seen it myself. Now, when it comes to women taking advantage of LinkedIn, if it is true, it's just then it just lends credence to real life, in the sense that women typically struggle to network and typically struggle mostly to leverage their network. So a woman might have a great network, but when she needs help, before she will ask anybody for this help, because she doesn't want to seem desperate. She doesn't want to. So even if she knows people, before she will even leverage the connections that she has. So it is a possibility. So how can women network better and leverage platforms like LinkedIn? I think one of the things I've seen personally in my life and for the women I've helped is to see yourself. I think the minute you see yourself, you can't shut up. I don't know how to explain it. The minute you see how valuable you are, So for me, when I'm talking about LinkedIn or when I'm pushing different visibility efforts for myself, I'm never thinking, they'll say this one is doing too much. I'm thinking, no, there's so many women who need my help. There's so many organizations that need my help, right? I have value to offer. And this is true for a lot of professional women. You've worked for 20 years in an organization, you've worked for 20 years in governance, you've worked for 15 years in climate change. The other day I was talking to a lady she only had 8 years of experience, but she was part of the CDC movement for vaccines during COVID. Like, an outstanding professional. And I was just like, and she was like, I don't know. What I did, is it really good? I'm like, you say what? I think many times as women, we have professional amnesia. So the first thing you need to do is you just need to see yourself and the value you create for organizations. And I tell people this thing: if you are not creating value for an organization, they will not be employing you. They will sit you down and have an exit conversation. Because especially now, everywhere, inflation and all of that. So if you're in an organization, you are offering value. You just have to find that value. So that's the first thing. See yourself. The next thing is you have to realize that the skills you have are tools for solving problems, and people need those tools. And I think when you understand that it's not about being strategy is not about being transactional. It's about, and I think men do this so well. Oh boy, do the person will go help me do X? I have this shipment. I beg. Do you know anybody that needs, like, guys? I remember I used to watch my dad a lot, and my dad has a problem. The first thing he does is his phone, and he will just do like this, just call somebody, and he just have a conversation. Please, my daughter is looking for so and so. Can you help her? It's very easy, and his phone was also always ringing with people that wanted help. I think as women, we need to understand that asking for help does not make us look desperate. It does not make us look it does not make being transactional is not necessarily a bad thing. And I think we just need to get comfortable with letting people know what we need, right? And I think once you start doing that, once you start showing up with value, once you start seeing yourself, once you start understanding that asking for help or telling people what you need, I'm constantly in a space where I'm telling people what I need. I'm looking for board positions, or I'm looking for more clients. I'm constantly in a space. This is an opportunity I really would like. What is your advice on how I can access these opportunities? I'm constantly, because closed mouths don't get fed, right? I am constantly telling people in my network what I need. And many times people will be honest with me. Glory, this opportunity, you need to do A, B, and C first, though. And if I didn't even tell them, I wouldn't know that maybe there was a gap. right? Or I have a blind spot. So it's about getting the right people in your network and letting them know what opportunities you need. Because many times people are sitting on opportunities that you need, but they won't tell you about it. And then you will now hear that they gave this person so and so opportunity, and you'll be upset. Huh? And I go to this person's house every day, and I even bought their daughter a birthday gift, and you'll be huffing and puffing. But honestly, the person didn't know. The person didn't know that you wanted that opportunity. They didn't know. Yeah.
I like what, and you kind of like struck a nerve there, because as a woman, I know what it feels like to kind of, want to reach out and ask for help. And, the scenarios that play in your head already, you're thinking, oh, what's this person going to say? How they're going to see it? So I like what you just said. There's nothing wrong with being transactional. Ask, right? And a lot of times people will not know that you need something. You don't open up and ask. They can't just assume for you, right?
Yeah, let me tell you a story. It's about asking talking to a friend. And I was talking to a friend and she was saying, "Oh, do your male friends know that you're rich?" And I said to her, and this is me, and she looked at me and she said, "Glory, the fact that you are single is not a secret." Like she just looked at me, she's like, "The fact that it's not a secret, and the fact that you want to get married is not a secret." So, and that made me stop and think that I'm here thinking that if I say, they will now start, if I say, "Oh, I'm looking, do you know anybody that is single? I'm looking to get married or be in a serious relationship," that people will look down on me. She's desperate. She just wants to get married. Do you understand? But then the truth about it is that if my friends know my age, at this age, they'll be expecting that I should be married. And if I'm not talking about this, that means maybe there's one guy that I'm dating that maybe he's abroad and we are going to get married soon. So do you understand? So I'm okay. And so they're not going to introduce him to someone because they're just and it's the same thing with business. Opportunity. It's the same thing. You've been working for 25 years. This is on a board. This is on a board. It's not a secret. Do you understand? You have the experience. If you have the experience, it's not a secret. So tell people.
I
Oh, I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now? Okay, good. I want to ask a more personal question here. You're on LinkedIn, right? But there's Instagram, there's Facebook, there's Twitter, there's TikTok. There are people who have networked, who have connected, who have made marks within their own industry on those platforms. What made you think, or what was it that gave you the revelation that LinkedIn is it for you? Because we also have professionals on those other platforms as well. So why are you more about LinkedIn?
That's an interesting question. So I think I'm more about LinkedIn because I saw the benefits it created for me. So remember I mentioned, so I used to teach networking and strategic visibility. And I used to use LinkedIn as as you know, as my own platform. So I wasn't really talking about LinkedIn specifically. But then I started seeing the benefits it was doing for my business. I was like, why are they not? Where are the people? Why are people not showing up here? Like this is such a resource. And so what I did, I just thought at first, I created a bonus course, right, on LinkedIn. So this was never meant to be a main thing. I created a bonus, a small bonus. So if you bought my course, you would get LinkedIn visibility as an addition, right? And then, you know, LinkedIn just started becoming so important to me in terms of how I was building international networks, how I was getting opportunities. I was just like, it's like people they're not seeing the potential in this thing. And so I now decided to start showing people the potential. And that's how it started. It was because I saw the benefits for myself. And I could retrace my steps to say it's because I did A, B, and C. So it was easy for me to teach other people how to do it.
can you share with us, if possible, real life examples of people who have transitioned? When I say transitioned, those who were on Instagram, on Facebook, and kind of like saw the light in LinkedIn, moved over to LinkedIn, and basically are recording greater success in LinkedIn than on the other platforms.
So I don't know about, I wouldn't right? I think different platforms have their best, right? But I will tell you people that have seen great success with LinkedIn. So I have a client who is a cybersecurity professional. She joined my program because she felt that she had more to give. And so she started, we did her profile, she started building an amazing network, started creating content. Today, she has been featured on Who is Who in cybersecurity globally. She has won awards, she's been promoted at work. In fact, she received an amazing opportunity. But even to top it all up, LinkedIn approached her to create a course on cybersecurity. So now she's a LinkedIn instructor. That's one person. I have another client who, an entrepreneur in the learning and development space, and she's in HR. She started creating content on LinkedIn, and then the BBC found her, and she was featured on BBC, and now she's become a LinkedIn top voice. So LinkedIn has named her a top voice for her particular sector, right? I have another client who her first article on LinkedIn after some work that we did together, her first article on LinkedIn, she was approached for a board opportunity. In fact, she was approached for multiple board opportunities, and she realized after the work we had done that these are not the opportunities she's looking for. She was aiming higher. I mean, I have so many people that have gotten clients on LinkedIn. I could go. I mean, so I know another client of mine who, she joined the board. After a few meetings, they're like, look, we want to nominate you as the board chair, because she's now on the faculty of the Rome Business School. There are just so many results, so many awards and recognitions from LinkedIn. What I like about LinkedIn is the international flair. Is that when you're networking correctly, you really build that international reputation. For example, one of my first international opportunities came from LinkedIn because I was featured by a European magazine on top coaches to watch in I think it was 2021. I mean, where I don't know where they would have found me that I'm here in my flats in Lekki. I don't understand how they would have found me. What I like about LinkedIn is, compared to Instagram, I think LinkedIn it's easier to figure out and easier to be authentic. You don't have to dance to get your video seen. You can. I'm not saying that you always have to dance on Instagram. There are people that don't dance but get seen. But I just feel if you're somebody that you don't want to go personal, you don't want to show your kids and reveal too much, you just want to focus on the professional, LinkedIn is really a great space. I've seen it, my clients have seen it. I mean, I tell people all the time, people are always like, oh, visibility, I don't want people to know too much about me. And I say, okay, how many kids do I have? What's my favorite color? When's my birthday? And I call myself a visibility queen. They don't know the answers to any of those questions. Why? Because I've kept it to myself. And all you know is what I do, right? Professionally, not my other, the other aspects of my life. So yeah.
Wow, this has been a very engaging session. We're almost up, but for those of us who have received a sudden burst of energy, we can do it. We want to do it on LinkedIn. Want to dominate LinkedIn. What are the 3 things, or 4 or 5, that we need to start doing immediately? So we can get on track to actually dominating LinkedIn.
Okay, so I'm going to give you some tests. Right? The first test, I want you to go on your LinkedIn and I want you to think about the people you are trying to attract, whether it's recruiters, HR professionals, business leaders, whatever it is. And I want you to look at your page and put yourself in the position of the people that you are trying to attract, and look at your page, your LinkedIn profile. Is it, when you read the first few lines, do you want to keep reading if you put yourself in those people's shoes? So that's the first test. If you don't want to keep reading, if you can't see keywords, and let's say another test you want to do, you should do rather, for example, let's say you want to be a governance expert, you want to be known as a governance expert. Type Control F on your screen and put in governance, and see how many times the keywords you want to be found for are on your profile. If you can't see those keywords, then you know that you have not even started where you are going, because nobody can find you. you are a needle in the haystack, right? So that's the second thing you should do. The third thing you should do is go to your network. Again, think about the people you are trying to attract. Look through the first 50 to 100 people. The people you're trying to attract, are they in that first 50 to 100? First of all, if you don't even have up to 50, there's already a problem. If there's already a problem, you don't have 100 people, you have 50 to 100 people, right? So there's already a problem. But if you do, go and just see. Maybe, and you know, this is the thing. Maybe you studied pharmacy in school, so you've added all your classmates, and all of them are pharmacists. But now you are in HR, and you don't have any HR people beyond the people that you work with. Also check, is it only people that you work with that are on your LinkedIn? Because that's another issue. You're not known outside the four corners of your office. Then go to your content. If you don't see content there, there's a problem. If you see content there, was it written by you? If it was not written by you, if it was written by you, give yourself a score. If it was not written by you, obviously, you know that's a 0. If the content was written by you, read it. Does it demonstrate expertise? Will somebody read this content and hire you? Will somebody read this content and share it to somebody else? Be objective. And so, depending on how you score yourself on those things, you can then see where your gaps are and what you need to do. And then the final thing, when you check it out, email glory@inspiredbyglory.com. And if you have not done well, say, Glory, I need your help.
That's what they call shameless plugging. It's good. It's allowed. It's allowed. All right, now you've told us the things that we need to do. Serious steps. So I wonder how some of us are going to score. Like over what? Over 100? If we can get at least 70, we're doing good. We're on the right track.
Yeah.
Right, we're on the right track. Okay, so you've told us the things that we should do. So what should we stop doing? Like now, what should we stop doing? The moment we end this session, what should we do? We go to our pages and stop what?
Stop sending people connection requests without notes. Stop putting a note. Stop randomly. Stop putting a note. You know what I was saying about instruction notes. So stop doing that. Stop accepting random people into your network without actually being strategic about who you're accepting into your network. Stop not creating content. Right? Stop not creating content, because I'm sure a lot of people are not. Create original content. And then stop not making LinkedIn a priority as part of your professional goals. Start to prioritize LinkedIn. Let me see, what else should you stop doing? Yeah, stop being a looker and not a partaker of LinkedIn. There are so many people that are on LinkedIn, you know, they've not done anything on their page, but they just go to other people's pages. They just go to other people's page and see what's going on and but they're not using it. You know, start using LinkedIn. I think those are some of the things I'd say.
Got some questions here, similar question from two people. So we have Joyce. So she's asking, do we need to really subscribe for LinkedIn Premium? Like, what are the benefits? Does it make any difference?
So LinkedIn Premium is a good thing. However, what I suggest is, first of all, get your LinkedIn up to date. Get a LinkedIn makeover, right? get a LinkedIn makeover done, start building your network, and then you can start to access things like premium. It doesn't make sense now if you don't have a great LinkedIn profile. What are you getting premium for? Like, it's not going to do anything for you. Start, get your LinkedIn profile done, start networking, and then, because premium, there are different types of premium packages for business owners, for people that want to do sales, and for people that are looking for jobs, right? So then you can see which different packages work for you. But if you don't have a LinkedIn profile that demonstrates your skills, there's no premium you want to get that's going to help you. Do you understand? So get that first. And to help, we'll give everybody from the Edo Development Organization who wants a LinkedIn makeover a 10% discount on our LinkedIn makeover package. So if you email coaching at inspiredbyglory.com, just say I was speaking and I offered 10%. So I think our LinkedIn makeover package is 170,000 naira, but we'll give 10% off on that. I hope it's 170 or 175. I can't remember. Or whatever the price is, we shall give you 10% off. Yeah.
Yay! Thank you. We got a gift, guys. So for those of you who are here, please quickly, if you need to switch up your profile on LinkedIn, take advantage of this. And I want to redeem it next year. Or I want to redeem it next month. Just in case, for those who are wondering.
So this package will last until December. This will last until December. Discounts. It will expire on the last day of the year.
Okay. Awesome. Now we have a last question. Does certification help my LinkedIn profile?
So it can help. Certifications are relevant. So yes, they can help. So just make sure that the certifications are relevant for the opportunities you're looking for. Yeah, it can help.
There's a guy that's on LinkedIn that I do follow. He's pretty young. He's below 30. I think he's 27 or 28. He's one of the LinkedIn voices. Now, he claimed on a recent post, he has no certifications whatsoever. He didn't finish, university. He doesn't have a degree. But yet, you have companies and co who are hiring him, who are using him for LinkedIn. So it's all about knowing what you and every other person's time on the platform. It's a platform that can really generate and create more value for us. So we are all about networking. We are all about visibility. And of course, as a result of that, you get to have your income boosted as well. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? I think that's the bottom line of everything.
Yeah, I just want to speak to that. I didn't really hear everything you said, but I just want to speak to this idea of being, not having certification, not having this. So one of the things I've learned about life is that there are rules and there are exceptions to rules. There are few people that are exceptions to rules, but there are a lot more people that have to obey the rules, right? And we never know who is going to be an exception to the rule. The rules, do you understand what I'm saying? So this idea of, maybe I didn't finish university and whatever. If we live in Nigeria, how many people do we know that didn't finish university that are getting jobs? So let's be clear on what is an exception to a rule and what is a rule, right? If you have relevant certifications, put it on your profile. If you have relevant experience, put it on your profile. Because recruiters, I know people who have lost out on key roles because they didn't have MBAs. This is not a talk. I know people who the recruiting manager has said to them, I'm sorry, we could not progress you to the next stage because you don't have an MBA. And they went and they paid thousands of dollars to get an MBA. That's a certification. So find out the relevant certifications for the opportunities you are trying to attract and get them so that you are not cut short, but also make sure you are demonstrating your experience.
Thank you.
So I see this question from Mercy. I always tell people, don't spend energy removing. That's a waste of time. Use that energy and that time to add the relevant people that knew in your previous job experience. Remember, your network is all about people. Network is all about people that know you, like those people could become sounding boards or could be connected to the people you are also trying to attract for your future roles. So don't yank them off. I have people, I said earlier that my background was in climate change and environmental planning. I still have a lot of people that were in that sector who are still on my LinkedIn. In fact, one of the a top CEO in the environmental industry recently approached me to help him redo his LinkedIn profile. Right? That's because in fact, he had hired me for a job before. That's because he's part of my network. He knew me, he trusted my value, and he has seen my growth in the LinkedIn space. Right? So don't yank them off, leave them there. When I was transitioning from climate change to environmental management, I got an opportunity because people in my network saw that I was speaking to more women. I got an opportunity to consult for federal government of Nigeria to bring women to discuss climate change policies. Why? This was my previous role, taking note of my transition and offering me an opportunity because they saw that I have value.
So in other words, single connect makes a difference. Very important. Thank you so much, Dr. Glory. I haven't used doctor since we started. Let me use it today. Let me use it now. Sorry. Okay. So, do you have last words, final words, anything, words of wisdom, parting words? That you need to give to us.
Okay, so for me, I really thank you again for inviting me. I really enjoyed this. I really think what you're doing. For your I think my parting word would be around two areas. The first is see yourself. I think and this is for both men and women, see the value that you bring to the workplace, to the entrepreneurship platform that you are part of. See that value and demonstrate that value. The second bit I would say is let your name position yourself in a way that your name is a solution to problems that people are discussing. I think, like we said at the beginning, the world has changed. Conversations are happening all the time, and we are not able to be in the room to discuss or to say, "Oh, put up our hand." The time life has changed. Before, when you're in school, teacher will ask a question, turn around, you say, "Auntie, I answer." You put up your hand, and they will point to you, and you answer. We no longer have those opportunities anymore. Global conversations are happening around our sphere of influence. The more you position yourself as a thought leader in these spheres, the more opportunities you're likely to get. And I think the sooner we as Africans begin to play on that global stage. Aren't you tired of reading books? When you want to read a book about career transition and you go to the bookstore, all we see are American stories, British stories. What about the work we are doing? Africa has serious peculiarities. What about the people that have survived in Africa's corporate world, in Africa's business world? Where are their stories? It is time for us as Africans to start to rise and be seen for the value that we give so that we can help the next generation of Africans and so that we can also build our legacy and say, stamp, I was here, I did this. I think that is one of the things that propels me to say, where are the African voices on the global stage? That's I think, and your voice should be there. That's what I would say.
Thank you so much. A fantastic end to a wonderful session. The takeaway on point, your parting shots on point. We are energized now. We want to be part of the African voices, making an impact, making not just in our small space, but globally as well. Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Gloria Edozien. We love you, and we hope we get to do this again soon enough. Yeah. So on behalf of myself and every single member of E.D.O, thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. So So for the rest of us here, hello.